What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2, and let's go ahead and get started with the show. But please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna get into it all. We got thoughts on Diddy, Cassie being the actual villain. We're gonna talk about that surprise witness, aka I think she goes by BJ Investigates as well too. We're gonna talk about her possibly being a Karen. Also, we're gonna talk about Tisa Tales. Now, a lot of people are still going after Tisa Tales, but I have a few thoughts about it. So let's go ahead and discuss and let's get right on into it, y'all. What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2 bringing you another episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling today? Let me go ahead and say what's up to the people. What's up, son? What's up, Roxy? What's up? It gotta be Destiny. Who else we got here? I know we got a few more people. What's up? We are family. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it all. Yes, it's a lot going on. Trust me, a lot. Yesterday I kind of just took a break. I did post a video yesterday talking about the freak off girls. A lot of people got strong opinions about it, and that's what that video was made for you guys to have strong opinions. But just to give you an overall brief of it, basically it was just me stating that this is a part of the Hollywood culture. Like, these girls are literally a part of this enterprise. At first, the term that was used to me was called yacht girls, but now we know they call freak off girls. But you know, freak off girls, yacht girls, it's all the same thing, right? So it's all a part of this culture. Like, these girls are a part of this lifestyle. And I'm not saying that none of them are being victimized or anything like that, but this is a part of the game. I think Diddy just took it to the extreme, but the whole freak off concept, that's not the first time we heard about that. This is a part of it, you know. But anyway, what's up, everybody coming in the room? I see y'all. All right, so let's get into it. What we want to start out with first? Let's start out with Tisa. Let's start out with Tisa first. So Tisa Tells has been on Nancy Grace again. This is the day afterwards. She's been on Nancy Grace again. Like I said, I told you guys, I was all like, Tisa is playing the long game. She realized it's like, okay, I love doing YouTube. I love doing this and that, but I know that I have eyes on me and I'm trying to get me a show or be a part of a show. And why not take that opportunity to be a part of something? And that's what Tisa is doing. She was featured on Nancy Grace again. Now, we could say, oh, well, it's just Nancy Grace. Like, who cares? No. That's still a big deal. You know, Nancy Grace is somebody who's well respected in the industry. You know, for me, Nancy Grace is kind of dramatic, and I'm kind of like a lot of people who are seen as like controversial and stuff like that, I agree with them and I disagree with them. Nancy Grace isn't necessarily my style, but I mean, she has an audience, she has a brand, so that's a good look for Tisa. Now, something that I didn't like was how Tisa was kind of playing up the whole, oh, these people were attacking me and blah, blah, blah. I had my armed security there and they were there to protect me and all this other stuff. And I was all like, from what I've seen from the videos, no one was there to like try to do physical harm to her, right? Like, we can say that, you know, and I said, like, you know, I don't think people should have been yelling at her and stuff like that. But to go to the extra length and they're like, yeah, these people were wild and they were trying to attack me and do this and that. I'm like, no. First of all, you had security. So I mean, if your security can't handle, you know, a few people heckling you or whatnot, yeah, then you might want to change your security. But I can't say that those people were trying to do physical harm. when you're in this space, people will talk shit to you. It happens, right? It happens. And like I said, I feel that everyone can have an opinion, whether it's good or bad. Everybody can have an opinion. When you signed up to be a YouTuber, this is what you signed up for. Now, on the dotted line, you know, YouTube didn't say you will be harassed and blah, 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 blah. YouTube didn't say that. But you've been in the game long enough to know that this comes with the territory, and it is what it is. You know, we didn't see her on video running for her life and all this stuff. So when she was in the car, it was like, yeah, I had to hurry up. And I was like, Tisa, no. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. It wasn't that bad. No. Now you could say I didn't like that, you know, they were heckling me or, you know, saying whatever. You could say that. But to play it up and make it seem a certain way, and especially too, we got to remember these are Black people as well too, right? So there's already an image and a perception about us thinking that we're violent, we're deranged, we're criminal, and you have to realize like you have a large audience. So if you're saying that about your own people, they are going to take that and run with that and typecast all of us. So you have to do better at that. But like I said, whether you think Tisa Tells is lying, telling the truth, whatever not, she's running all the way to the bank. Like I said, she realized, okay, I need to do something after this trial. Because now that the trial is over with, half those people I don't know if we'll ever see again, right? And this is not me being negative. I'm just telling you the truth. We don't know if we'll see half those people again, right? Some people, this was like their last effort of relevancy. And then some people already had a platform and they're going to be able to continue and, you know, go forward, right? So again, that's one of the reasons why I was all like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to the trial because I don't think this is like my moment. Like, and I don't want to say like this federal case was my moment because I mean, it was something serious, right? But I think certain people went with the intent, like, I'm going to be a big star. And it's kind of like, it was already aligned who was going to be a big deal and who was going to make it from this trial. And the people who were the stars, you know who they are. I don't have to say, right? I mean, we talking about them right now. Something else that I wanted to clarify too. A lot of people were saying that Armand was the one attacking Tisa, and I'm all like, no. Why are y'all saying that? Y'all obviously got it wrong. And I don't even like using the word attacking either. I don't even like using that word for the situation. But again, it was not Armand. Armand, you know, you heard in the video, he was like, oh, I'm walking away from all that. You know, I'm running. So I don't know why I've been seeing a lot of YouTube channels because, you know, we in this algorithm saying Armand versus Tisa Tells. And it's all like, no, it wasn't Armand. Like, where are y'all getting that from? And again, like I said, it's a tricky situation because, and I was going to talk about this right now, but hell, let's get into it. Do y'all know that surprise witness, aka I think her other name is BJ Investigates? I had seen this post, right? And I felt a certain kind of way. Let me. I felt a certain kind of way from this post. It put a bad taste in my mouth, and I couldn't figure why until, you know. And I'll get to that point. Hold on. Let me not spoil it already. So the surprise witness said, to everyone asking if I'm okay, I'm getting there. But yesterday I was definitely not. And I will be recovering for a while. So when I read that, I was like, damn, what happened? You know, like, you recovering, like, you know, because I didn't hear about her. Put a 1 in the chat if everybody was talking about Tisa Tells. Put a 2 in the chat if they were talking about that surprise witness. You know, we just heard about Tisa. We didn't hear about this. So I was like, damn, what happened, right? So continue. She said, if you are wondering why I didn't go live yesterday on the biggest day of the entire Diddy case, it is because I was targeted and attacked by a group of deranged and haggard freaks literally the entire day. I was like, whoa, like what's going on? And then she continues, I'll be going live today or tomorrow to give y'all the full rundown of the entire trial day, including detailing the multiple attacks with pictures of the assailants. Assailants? What is going on? It said multiple federal marshals had to intervene for my safety and the order of the institution of the federal courthouse. Then she continues, y'all are literally not going to believe that these lunatics did and said. It was all very shocking and appalling, and I feared for my safety all day. The only reason I stayed was to let them bitches know I don't run from bullies, and I never will. Continued. Don't worry though. Of course, I stood my ground, and of course, I got pics and receipts and multiple witnesses, and will be showing you all what they tried to do to me. 2 of the lunatics are pictured below in reference. And then, you know, when she said haggard freaks and lunatics, I was all like, okay, I know that there was people acting a fool outside the courthouse, right? And I was just kind of like, I don't like the way you said that and about these black women, but I was like, maybe because I'm black, I feel a certain kind of way or whatever, so I'm gonna let it go. So then I was watching Popcorn Planet, right? He was like, yeah, I had to check on BJ because you know these women were attacking her and I had to make sure that she was all right and blah blah blah. And I was all like, okay. I was all like, all right, I get it, I got it, okay. And then he was like, yeah, you see the one right here with the wig? I was all like, I already see the microaggression. I was all like, yeah, I definitely see the microaggression going on. And so I was like, okay, still none of my business. I'm just going to never mind it, right? So then BJ does another post. She went live the other day and she kind of talked about the situation, but she didn't really go into full detail. She made this post right here. Please send me videos, links of content creators getting harassed by usual suspects in the Diddy line. Clip shorts is easiest, but timestamps for longer lives is good too. Put in a little something together. Comment below with links and blah, 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 you know, her email address. And I'm all like, okay. I was all like, is she trying to make a moment out of this? Nope. The first time I saw, thank you, measurement. Thank you. Where my black people at? Put the one in the chat if you black and melanated. Okay, because I was all like, am I overreacting? I was all like, am I overreacting? So y'all, I got a surprise for you. So Secret Service Sam actually went live with these haggard freaks, as BJ called them, right? And I was all like, okay, and this live just ended up coming up, right? And I was like, that was nothing but God. That was nothing but God that video popped up, because I don't even follow Secret Service Sam. And I was like, how does video come up? Well, the way they explained it is that the lady cut in line, and that's what was more or less going on. So I was all like, okay, let me go ahead and pull this up right here. Okay, you ready? Because when I heard the women, I was all like, you could say like, oh, they had some kind of disagreement and stuff like that, but the way they was used, like these women, it gave microaggression. I'm sorry. That's what I believe.
Secret Service Sam, the podcast, and Secret Service Sam, the podcast. It's not so secret because you're here. Yeah.
I hate how some of these YouTubers are so damn dramatic. Like, oh, I don't like that intro, Secret Service Sam, but shout out to you. And by the way, the woman name is Diamond.
Guys, this is Secret Service Sam, the podcast, the super secret show. Why? Because, well, it's not that secret because you're here, but we have an exclusive today because we came with receipts today. I have myself and Diamond, who is here. Yeah. Diamond, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Sam.
Now, let me just give a little history. Diamond and I have been here at this Diddy trial almost pretty much. I've been there since the beginning. Diamond's been there. Diamond is the one who, as of lately, has been helping keeping the public line. We have a list because we have to get there at about 2 a.m. to get into the Diddy courtroom. Now, I have something that I have to address because
Hold on, let me read this comment. This is from somebody who was there. And thank you. Is it Shanoa? Shanoa can talk. Thank you. She said, I was there that day, but did not witness the actual incident because I was inside the courthouse. What I can say is those two ladies are absolute sweethearts and very nice. And I want to speak to that too. So the ladies that were, so the whole thing about Line was that there was a guy named Michael, I believe, right? Michael was there with a whole bunch of equipment. He had to take it back to the car. And so basically when he went back, usually what happens is that they'll save your spot for you. Well, because he got out of line and had to put his stuff back in the car, then BJ slipped in. And then that's when they're all like, oh, were you here first? And then that's when the whole kerfuffle, is that a word, kerfuffle? That's when the whole situation happened. So that's how it went down. So mind you, but these people were there for the whole 3 weeks. I mean, not 3 weeks, 8 weeks or whatever. And so BJ just came the last couple of days. So I can see it both ways as this. One, BJ felt like, okay, well, because, you know, I'm here, like, this is my opportunity. I'm gonna get in here. And those ladies was all like, hold on, you just got here just yesterday and you expect you gonna cut us in line and we've been here the 8 weeks. So I could see both sides in that way. But again, like I said, I didn't see this until last night and this video came up and I was like, yeah, I want to give at least like show this side because again, and I hate to say it by the numbers, but somebody like her, she has the numbers. And so people are automatically going to take her side, not realizing like, okay, there's the other side too. So if you want to be fair, at least listen to both sides. And by the way, this woman didn't sound haggard or anything like that. I didn't get that from her. Like if there was any like piece of like, oh yeah, she ratchet, I can see. No, I didn't get none of that. None of those microaggressions I didn't get from this.
A woman who came in the line for the last day of the verdict. It was the Wednesday. She had never been there before. Her name is That Surprised Witness on YouTube. And she is one of the most entitled white women I have ever met in my life. She is what we call a Karen. Now, let me read to you what she wrote about us and specifically Diamond and the other women.
And by the way, I think Secret Service Sam has a personal thing about her because you'll see that he was like roasting her the whole time. He got a personal thing. But the women themselves, they weren't like being petty about her and all that stuff as far as like, you know, her looks and all that.
All Black women who are there. She said to everyone asking if I'm okay, I'm getting there. But yesterday I was definitely not, and I will be recovering for a while. If you were wondering why I didn't go live yesterday on the biggest day of the entire Diddy case, it's because I was targeted and attacked by a group of deranged and haggard freaks, literally the entire day. She's calling a group of very intelligent, smart Black women who I have known for a long time in this trial, and she's calling them a group of deranged and haggard freaks. Racism.
So I want to say something. So you have to remember, like the people that have been there the whole time, they have a rapport with each other. So it is kind of like when you're an outsider, somebody just coming in, they're looking at you like, who the fuck are you? So it's already tension with that, right? Let's go.
Then she goes, I'll be going live today or tomorrow to give y'all the full rundown of the entire trial day, including detailing the multiple attacks with pictures of the assailants. Multiple federal marshals had to intervene for my safety, and the order of the institution of the federal courthouse, a lie. Total lie.
Big lies. Total lie. Woo.
Y'all are not literally going to believe what these lunatics did and said. It was all very shocking and appalling, and I feared for my safety all day.
Oh my
How many
God.
times do we
I
hear
could've been
Karen
scared for my
say this?
safety with her.
She goes on, the only reason I stayed was to let them, B-words, know I don't run from bullies and never will. Don't worry, though, of course, I stood my ground, and of course, I got pics and receipts and multiple witnesses. I don't know who that would be, because it was
Oh
just
my
us and
gosh.
her and her
Yeah.
fiance, and
That's
we'll be
right.
showing you all what they tried to do to me. 2 of the lunatics are pictured below for reference. I literally cannot wait to tell y'all this story, but yesterday was completely
lie.
ruined, and I am still pretty shook up about
I'm
it.
shook up too.
And look at the picture. Look who she has. That is Diamond on the picture. And what's the other woman's name who was in line?
Yes, hit that like
It's
button.
Jay.
Jay. Yep. So that's why I contacted Diamond to let her know about this, because first off, people, her behavior was
Such a
so
lie.
disgusting. There was
Yes,
a
it
gentleman
was.
in line who had been sleeping in line all night,
Since Saturday. And matter of fact, he has been there since Saturday.
and only 11 people get in. And so when we got inside the courtroom, if you don't get all your stuff through security fast,
Did she say, I have black friends? Was that what it was, Measure Man? Shout out to Measure Man.
fast enough, it's hard, because when you get in the next line, somebody can get ahead of you. She got ahead of this gentleman. She was number 11. And then when it came time to tell the truth and tell one of the many
officers.
marshals, if she wants to talk about the marshals that we spoke to, they asked her to tell the truth, and she lied.
She lied.
And so please go ahead now, Diamond, and tell them how she acted in line once she was lying about her spot.
Oh my goodness. First of all, she was not there. She just happened to be, she just came like 20 minutes before outside. And then so we had to get online, get in. She was number 12. Okay, so everyone has to go through the metal detectors and everything. So there was this one gentleman named Michael, and he has equipment for his camera, his lenses and everything. So therefore, he couldn't move as fast as any one of us because we don't have much. He has all that to go through the metal detectors and to put in the little cubby and get his whatever to get back on the line. So everyone knows their position in line. Everyone is counted for.
Right, you had your list, and her fiance showed up an hour after all of us. I mean,
I made a list of everyone who was going in.
So I know from BJ's side that it was her husband who actually waited in line for her. And then that's why they say, oh, she came like 20 minutes before. Well, her husband was there, but I guess the husband came an hour after, they were already there.
Into the main room with Diddy and his family. So everyone knows who is who, and everyone knows their position and their number. Okay? It could not be duplicated. And everyone there we thought was very, very honest, except for her, who was number 12. So Michael was slow and he got there. So he got kicked back to number 12. He couldn't get in if he's number 12 because it's only 11 people get to go in from the public. Now, with that said, the marshal came over and told him, listen, why are you there? You're not supposed to be there. I already counted 11 people. So he said, you got to go back there. You have to go in the back of the line.
And we all stood up for him, saying he was before her. Her name, the woman is that surprise witness. Her name apparently is BJ.
So we all stood up for Michael. I was going to back for him and saying, no way. This guy has been here since Saturday.
We all did.
He's the first one in line. We all stood up for him. And so the marshal didn't want to hear anything. And Miss BJ, or that surprise witness, batting her eye, pouting her lips, like,
yeah, she has her big, her filled lips. Like I said, with a lot of these people, they want black women. They want your lips, your hips, and your dips. But they go straight up Karen. So when the marshal,
Secret Service Sam is so petty. As I understand, he's an actual comedian, and then he kind of got into this space of like celebrity gossip. So Yeah, so I just kind of want to let you guys know. But he's like a big deal on TikTok, but not really on YouTube. Like this video, I think only had like 1,000 views or something like that. Hold on, let me see. Oh, 876 views.
Was asking her, and we were all like, and we all told the guy, we're like, Mike was here first. She took his place in line, and she's like, y'all can give him your line. She goes with her fake Southern black accent.
I don't know about that.
Southern blackness for sure. Fake Southern blackness. And she pouting and doing all like this and like that. You know, and so the marshal did not want to hear what we're saying. And it's the more she pout that she raised her hand and say, call the marshal, they're harassing me.
Yeah, she said, I feel like I'm being attacked. I feel like
right, Aaliyah.
Right.
And she is the one with the most mouth. And she knows she's the one doing the attack, matter of fact. And she's attacking us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a group of black women. It was Queen, Charlene, yourself, and this is what and she was calling these women deranged and haggard freaks. It was straight up racism because the way she used her whiteness to call all this attention, and she's telling all of her fans that everyone asking if I'm okay, like she had an accident, like she'll be recovering for a while from.
That's why I didn't like the whole, I'm shaken up, but like, because I'm all like, to be shaken up, like, did these women put their hands on you? Just having some words to me doesn't equate that you be so shaken up that it take you a while to recover, right? Like, shaking up is like they formed a circle around you and they was about to jump you, and then somebody had to come in and save you because they was about to rough you up. Like, that's what that. And I know somebody said earlier, well, AT2, you a man. No, I don't think that either, because I think if anybody was in that situation, they would just say we had a word, or a war of words, common folks. Like, when somebody is trying to do something to you, and especially if they did try to beat her up or something, they wouldn't be allowed in the courthouse, right? They wouldn't even have been allowed. So with that being said, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it would get to where it would get physical. Yes, cancel that. Y'all are crazy. Oh, and thank you, Measure Man. He said, I noticed her shift during the Diddy trial. Her true colors showed and Karen came out. Didn't Tri-State sue her? I do not know about the lawsuit. But one of the things for me that I was, when I was watching her, like, she was all like, yeah, these thugs and all this. And I'm all like, where are the thugs? Where do you see the thugs? And just like those kind of things, I was like, nah, I ain't watching you. And like I said, I've brought up this conversation before. It's not that I think white people can't cover black celebrities, but it's the way within they do it that I have a problem with. If they're just reporting and just giving the news, that's one thing, right? But when they start saying things like thugs and this and that, and like, I just be like, And didn't I tell you guys, there was a TikTok that I did, right? Where I said, it seemed like y'all are literally using the Diddy situation to attack black celebrities. I did a TikTok on this. Hold on. Oh, no, that's music. Hold on.
You know, the one thing that I learned from Diddy, hear me out before y'all get all crazy, but what I learned with this whole Diddy situation is that I need to be more careful in the way that I talk about black people. Because if you notice, the others, the way they talk about certain situations when it comes to black celebrities, it sounds kind of, ignorant reasons, all that other stuff you want to say, right? That the algorithm don't like us to say. But they sound a certain way. It make you kind of feel a certain way. Because let's talk about how we were convinced that it was going to be hundreds of celebrities that were going down with Diddy. And right now, as it stands, it seems just Diddy is going down. However, when we talk about people like Mike Jeffries, the CEO from Abercrombie and Fitch, and what he was doing far worse than Diddy and had many more victims. But These people don't talk about him. Jeffrey Epstein, they pretend like that's a thing in the past. And, Jeffrey Epstein ain't here right now. However, he was.
And I don't like how they compared this Diddy case to Jeffrey Epstein. That is too. One is on the other extreme. Like, yeah, let's not compare. I didn't like that as well either.
Doing a lot worse than what Diddy was doing, and they've been making comparisons between Jeffrey Epstein and Diddy, and they are nothing alike. Nothing. Now, you can talk about the legalities as far as like trafficking and what they're being charged with, but the situations are totally different. Diddy didn't have an island, as we understand. Now, he had a lot of baby oil, but he didn't have an island. And most importantly, nobody was minors. Now, a lot of people go like, well, AT2, there's cases. Yeah, those are civil cases that have not been proven yet. But as far as the federal case, nothing has been mentioned with any children in the federal case.
Yeah, this case is different from R. Kelly. And Nancy Grace, let me call out Nancy Grace too, because Nancy Grace was even saying like this was an OJ situation, like Diddy got off. Technically, Diddy did not get off. No pun intended. But Diddy did not get off. He is still charged with 2 counts of prostitution. Like, he did not get off. Like, yeah, the RICO, he beat that. That is a victory. The RICO, because that was life in prison. But let's not say this is the same situation as OJ. Like, let's not do that. I didn't like that. This is its own case. All right, let's continue. And hit that like button, by the way.
From an instant, we should be the ones having to tell you that we're recovering from her abuse.
I could not believe she behaved that way. She behaved like a real racist in that line. I don't know if you guys don't know that she's racist for real, but it just didn't just happen. She's racist. And on top of that, I'm going to let you guys know. So we all was in the cafe. Then after that, we went to the balcony, right? A group of us, same black, beautiful, young, intelligent black woman. And then another group on the other side. And she so happened to be in the other group. So we had something from the Diddy trial, from the defense. And we gave it to the next table. So they were over there reading it.
Oh, right. You were inside the cafeteria.
Yeah, it was inside the cafeteria. So the other group that she was in, we gave them a copy. So they were reading it, right? So so we walked over there. We just was listening to Amir reading and stuff like that. And he said something. And she said, oh, no.
I got to look that up, Measure Man. Thank you for that.
One of the ladies look at each other and like, what? We were shocked that she even said that. She doesn't even know what's going on with the trial. That was my first time seeing this girl named BJ. And I'm telling you, it was not a good experience. So one of the girls.
So this is very good. Classism versus racism. I don't think that you could separate the two. I know a lot of people try to separate classism versus racism, especially those crazy leftists. They try to separate them, but they go hand in hand, actually. But I don't even think this was a classism and I'll even go this further. I don't think this was a racism issue. I think it's a lot of microaggressions, which in turn is just, prejudices that you might have. And I think that's more or less what this situation was. I don't think, in her circle that she's comfortable around people like this. And so she basically had her own interpretation of these ladies. And mind you, I haven't heard them go off or yell, and maybe, they could be faking it for the camera, right? But I haven't once heard them raise their voice or anything. Like the person who's getting more hyped is the white guy, Secret Service Sam. I'm seeing him get hyped. Not the black woman Diamond,
Girls, because the reason why she did what she did, I'm going to tell you what she did. So one of the girls, so BJ was like, oh, like this and like that. And she scooting closer to Amir with the paper and was like,
I'm sorry, Anne-Marie.
So the girl snatched the paper and took it over to our side, like she should, because Miss Karen was very caring. I mean, the girl had the paper, she said,
not Miss Karen.
None of y'all can read anyway. Y'all can't understand nothing. Y'all can't read.
Oh,
that's exactly what she said.
And remember, I had Celebrity Scandalous up here, and she was talking about how they were talking about like the minimum that he would have to serve, or oh no, it wasn't the minimum he would have to serve, like if he could get released, if he could get bail. And Celebrity Scandalous was all like, I had to show her the paper and let her know, like, oh no, he's not getting out of jail because of this and that. Remember, she had stated that, oh, here she is. What did you say yesterday, Celebrity Scandalous? You kind of spoke to this. And this was before I even knew this whole situation. But you had to show her like the paper and let her know, like, oh no, he won't be getting out or something like that, right? I'll play the video while she answers this.
Yeah. No, she was terrible. And she was behind me, and all I hear is like, oh my God, he smells so bad. I'm not sitting next to him. And I was just like, is she talking about me? And she passed me up. I was like, I'm not talking about you. No, sorry. And I don't know who she was talking about, but it was so disgusting. So I just wanted to come on here live because she's totally lying to her following.
She's lying
like a
to
Karen does.
Yeah. All your followers she has, she is totally lying. There's nothing wrong with her. Don't do no GoFundMe with her. She is a
right. She's doing a GoFundMe, you guys.
She is.
Well, she's the one who attacked.
Listen, she is the one that attacked us all. We are the victims, not her. I can assure you that we are the victims.
Oh, so Celebrity Scandalous. Let me be petty real quick. Did you hear BJ say that they couldn't read or something like that? Not they couldn't read. Oh wait, Shanoa, you said you were in the courthouse. Did you hear her say anything? Well, no. I guess if you weren't at the table, I guess there was a situation at the tables or something like that. So never mind. Y'all might not know. Let me not get y'all in trouble.
She has a mouth on her, mouth of the South, calling me and the others the B word and saying all sorts of very nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Being extremely, extremely racist.
Yeah.
She is not to be trusted. She put on the front on her pages. Yeah. That's not who she is. Meet her.
No, that's what I want to let all of her fans. Yeah, all of her fans know you're not getting the real BJ. We all witnessed the real BJ, and we gave her a chance. She was sitting there talking so much in line, and she's like using her little, girl, and totally throwing around her little fake black scent, and then her fiance was there. Who
I noticed that too from watching her videos. She do kind of like and girl, and it's like, come on now. And I know if you question her about that, she'll be like, oh, well, I'm from the South. We all talk like that, So I noticed that too. So I was like, you know what? She's just not for me. That's what I left it at. It was like, I'm not going to make it content or anything like that. Well, until now, because of this situation.
The guy.
Oh, hold on. We got somebody here. What's up, Celebrity Scandalous? How you doing? Let me change the camera. Oh, shoot. What happened? Hold on. Oh, are you there? Hello? Celebrities. Oh, okay. Oh, I think something happened to her camera. That's what happened. Okay. Okay, I think she's here. Hello, Celebrity Scandalous? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Hey, how you doing?
You're gonna have to put me on payroll, darling.
No, listen. I remember the first couple of days of the court case, I had messaged you, and then you messaged me like a week later, and I was all like, oh, I think it'd be cool if she gives us her perspective from the courthouse. And so you were acting stankin' brand new because you met some new friends and forgot about me, but okay.
No, listen. You're gonna need to put me on payroll, darling. 2 guest appearances in 48 hours. I mean, come on. No, I'm just playing. Okay. No, okay, yeah. And Shanoa, hey, shout out to Shanoa because I was hanging with her out there as well. But yeah, and she and I were in court together. What happened was I was at the table. I wasn't there for the line situation, but I had been talking to BJ, and they gave the Tea Lounge gave us they had copied it. I don't know if I talked to you about this, but yeah, they had copied it And I was reading it because, I'm still like that legal secretary. I like to get my little legal beagle on still. So BJ and I were talking about the legal stuff, right? And then we moved outside. So everybody was sitting outside. I didn't know that they had some beef earlier in the day. Yes, I can talk. That's my girl. That's my girl. So I spent a lot of time with her too. So anyway, they had given us the papers and I was like, oh, we got an attorney over here. I have my perspective. And I was saying, no, y'all, it's not negotiable because there's a mandatory. And I said, BJ, did you read this? And she was like, wait, what? Let me read it again. She said, yeah, I read it. I said, no, reread it because it tells you they're pursuant to such and such. It's mandatory. And so then she read, she goes, oh yeah, that's right. So we were kind of talking about that. And then, so we were sitting there and I was kind of saying, so then somebody was saying, well, no, that particular attorney, because it was Cassie's attorney who wrote that particular letter, right? And she said, well, he doesn't have a voice. And I was like, no, whoever has the judge's ear, they're not telling him, they're not advising, they're just telling him what the law is, that he can't deviate from that. So that was my point. So we were kind of talking in a roundabout. Now, let me tell you, I think the one lady with the blonde hair is her name Diamond.
Diamond, yeah.
Okay, I don't know her, but I was seeing her. I never we kind of were roundabout. Hey, how you doing? But I know the Tea Lounge, really cool young lady, and also JC. And we were all hanging together, cool, looking out for each other, no drama.
It was like a family, like you said, right?
Right. And so
I was also saying that probably played a part too, where they've already built a camaraderie, and then you come in the last 2 days thinking that who the are you? That's probably what they were thinking. Who the are you?
But see, I didn't know. And Amir was there, so Amir was with us as well. This is my little nephew, right? But I didn't know that they had drama. And see, the thing about it was they were being really cool. They still gave us the papers, even though they had some drama that morning. I didn't know about the line incident, so I'm not even knowing that there's some stuff, because we were sitting outside in the courtyard at a table. They were at a table behind us, and I was sitting with BJ, Max, Amir, and her husband, and they had shared the papers. I mean, they were gracious enough to give us the copies, so they were trying to make sure everybody got the information. So while we were kind of talking, and BJ was saying Amir was reading the document, and Max and we were sitting on the same side as her husband. And honestly, I'm listening to Amir read. And then I think JC came over, or maybe Tea Lounge, and she said something about, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. And so I'm like, because I'm like, listen to what he was saying, because he was reading. And then it was almost like, what happened? We're not even knowing kind of. And then
so who said, I'm not going to go back and forth with you? Who said that?
Surprise witness.
Okay.
BJ. Yeah, she kind of made that argument, said that. And then Tea Lounge said, you're not going to go back and forth with us because I'm about to snatch the mother-ucking paper because we gave it to you guys. She snatched it. She snatched it out of Amir's hand. How, Black women. She said, what? Snatch? And Amir, but see, no, because Amir really didn't have nothing to do with it. He was like, we were all kind of like, I ain't gonna lie.
Y'all didn't even know what was going on. It was BJ in the Tea Lounge, and so it was like, wait, hold on.
And JC, right? So and Tea Lounge, that's my girl. She's from New York and stuff, and she's really cool. So she snatched it. So we're all kind of stunned, just sitting there on froze. So then JC kind of comes up, because it was JC who had made the copies and given it to us and everything. So then JC kind of says, what? And so we're like, what happened? So because remind you, they're at the table behind us. So by this time, Tea Lounge walks away and JC is coming up, and we're like, well, what's going on? So I'm trying to be the peacemaker, and you know me, AT2, I'm always trying to be zen. Let's all just get along. And so I'm like, they like, shut the F up. It ain't no getting along. They like, you about to get your, and I'm just being funny, but no, they kept their cool. And JC was like, what are you talking about? We're she was just kind of trying to reason. And BJ was like, don't say nothing else to me. So I'm like,
whoa. Wait,
and
so did you see these black women like threaten her or put their hands on her?
No, so she
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
So what? No, it's fine. From what you're talking about, that situation allegedly happened in the line that morning. I don't know what happened with that. I wasn't there. At the table, nobody threatened to do nothing to nobody. They just took their paper. And then JC was trying to be reasonable. And she was like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, I thought BJ, which now after I processed what happened, she was like, they can't read anyway. Or she said, and I don't paraphrase exactly, but she said something like they can't read or understand it anyway. So I thought she meant like they don't understand legalese. She said they can't read. And so I was like, then it was like, oh, wait, hold on. Can't. I said, well, no, don't they, it's not that they can't read. I was like, oh, I think you mean that they don't understand legalese. Because I know, like, if you work in, that environment, legalese can't count. You got to keep reading it. Just like she had failed to catch that pursuant to this is mandatory. Like, you got to keep reading it. Sometimes it's like a formula. So when she said that, JC was like, can't read. What? And then I was like, oh, snap. This ain't you don't tell us, because for years, y'all.
DJ was the one more the aggressive, like the way
she was the snappy kind, like that, and I was like, y'all, come on now. So she got mad, and then she wouldn't even like allow me to say, y'all, let's be peaceful here. Then it was like, y'all all just F you guys. So her and her husband get up, Max gets up, everybody jumps up. And I'm sitting there like, but yeah, no, they didn't. Let's see, I'm seeing that they're saying she's cool. Yeah, but the ladies, they didn't say, they were kind of going back and forth, but nobody said.
And here's the thing too, because I want to speak to this. I think because there's a few of her supporters in here. I don't mind. They're allowed to be here. But literally you have this lady saying that these hackered women were attacking her, and then she needed a couple of days to chill and calm down. Because if you put that out there, and especially you showed the picture of these two black women, they'll be like, oh, see, they don't know how to act and blah, blah, blah. And then you have the baby oil situation, and then so they already have a perception about black people, right? Now, me and you, we'll look at it as an isolated incident, like, okay, it's just these women. But the kind of platform that she has where she shares it with the lighter hue, they're going to look at the situation like these ghetto, banshee, ranchy, raunchy, hood, doo-doo mamas. That's the way they're going to fucking look at it. Because like I said, Popcorn Planet was on his channel. He was like, yeah, I had to check on BJ. And you was like, oh yeah, see that lady with the wig on? Now, sir, Mr. Caucasian, why would you point out that she had a wig on? What if that grew from the root? You don't know if it grew from the root. She could have been a natural blonde, damn it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, they have this audience, like, they don't check their audience. They think like, oh, well, I'm just talking about the situation. No, you got to check your audience, because perception is everything.
These ladies, for the most part that I met, are educated women. I mean, we're all, college grads and hey, Lily, that's my baby. Okay. Yeah, they are all educated women. Not once, all the times that I've been with them, because I would spend a lot of time with JC, T Lounge, and everything. Listen, these women were articulate. We were talking, court stuff and the lead. We were just like, it was never.
Hold on. I don't like when y'all do that shit in my chat. Oh, you Americans are obsessed with race. No. What about when they canceled Canada Day because they found buried Indians underneath the school? You guys know about racism too. Don't play that. Don't play Americans are obsessed. You need to know our history before you even say something like that. Go ahead.
Can I speak to that? In terms of us being obsessed with race, we probably are, because we have been considered minorities. Mostly everything that we do in this country, when it's buying a home, when it's going to college, when it's applying for a loan, they want to know our race. Before we can do anything of substance in this country, it is race-based. That's how we're classified. So are we obsessed? No, but the country definitely is.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
We not about to do that. And then we're talking about an American situation. You want to tell us how to act. We don't tell you how to act with, the prime minister and stuff like that. Don't come over here and try to tell us how to act when you don't even understand our culture. Don't do that. Do not do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, every document we fill out, it's like, what's your ethnicity? What's your race? So yeah. Oh, you're Black? Oh, well, you probably, you don't qualify for this loan. They reiterate it to us all the time. So yeah. Sorry, that's the American way. But yeah, so these ladies, and I'm not taking up for them just because I knew, but we never had a bad time ever. There was never, listen, I think I can read the room. If I had known that there had been some beef that morning with them, I would not have included them in our conversations. So that lets you know that they weren't even acting funny. They still gave us the documentation. We didn't have a clue. So yeah, no. So
that is interesting. So, and here's the thing. Because the way that, like, when I first seen BJ post, like, I had an issue with it, but I was like, I'm gonna mind my Black business. I'm gonna leave it alone, right? But then, like I said, that Secret Service Sam, I don't even follow him. His video happened to come up, and I was like, let me check it out because he actually has the women there. And so I'm all like, these women don't really have like a platform on YouTube. So, they're just going to see BJ's side and not see the other side. And have this perception of these women. And I was like, well, I don't even let me just check it out and see what they're talking about. And when I heard their story, I was all like, oh. And then they mentioned the whole thing about being at the table, and then they said that she said, oh, they can't read or something like that. And I was like, I remember Celebrity Scandal, it said something like she had to show BJ the paper where it said about the mandatory thing. So yeah, so that's what made me get a flashback, and I was like, okay, I gotta talk about this.
Yeah, I think it got blown out of proportion. And I can see where the race is an issue because historically we were not allowed to read. So when you say things like that, and when we know of the disparity of African American children in this country and how they don't have equal education and things like that, making a comment like that, yeah.
But not even going that deep into history. Like, why would you even say, like, what would make you say, oh, they can't read? Like,
the first thing, because it was so ridiculous. Wait, hold on. My first thought was just that she means they didn't understand legalese, and that's the only way I could process it. What are you talking about? They can't read. They copied the documents and gave it to us. They were reading, so that just kind of went over my head until I stopped and said, did you just say what, after JC kind of made it an issue, then it kind of hit me because I wasn't even in the vein of thinking of anything like that. Like she was trying to insult them. But after I processed it, like, oh, what? You can't tell a group of Black women they can't. What the hell are you talking about? I'm the one that told everybody to read this again and to understand that it was the point of it was mandatory. Let's not do that to each other. But yeah.
Yeah, wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. And you know what the crazy part is about it is that the camaraderie that you guys all had at the courthouse, it really did seem like a family. Just like when you explained the whole baby oil thing, it was like, and I said it was like the last day of high school, basically. It was kind of like the end of everything, and people being exhausted from this whole case. And so knowing that you guys have built this camaraderie, and then when you have outsiders come in, it's kind of like, okay, wait, who are you? And then it's not that outsiders aren't allowed to come in, because anybody could go to the trial, right? But try to impose or tell you the way that things are going to be. Like, you can't tell people how something is going to be or how it, like, No. You just got here. You come in with it's kind of like, where we from, everything being gentrified and they want to start making rules. No. We are the culture. You can't just come in here and start making rules. Like, no, you follow what we do.
And that's kind of what I got. Again, I heard about the backstory after the fact, but it's like when I initially I didn't even know those were because she told us the story. They were sitting right behind us, and I had no clue she was talking about them.
Oh.
So she was.
Wait,
and
she told you the story, and you didn't even know it was them
because they didn't act any kind of way.
That tells you something.
So when we heard the story, it was like, yeah, that's not cool. But now that I saw Secret Sam's video and I'm hearing the other side, it's like, because she was saying they made a comment about you weren't even here or you were just getting here. And so I was like, yeah, that's not cool. A line is a line. But now I'm understanding even further is that, yeah, we had established some norms here. We had established the way we were all going to be respectful towards each other. I wasn't there to witness what happened, but I understand. If they did say that, I get why they said it. It's like, if you go someplace, there are rules, and then as a community, you establish how you guys are going to engage. And so I think that's what they meant when they were talking about, well, you're just getting here. You don't understand how we've established if we were in line, if this person falls behind, he keeps his place. I mean, I don't know, but I get, now I understand the unspoken things or the things that were said that, I get the context now. But she talked about it. She was telling us about it. They were sitting behind us, didn't know she was talking about them.
Yeah, so they didn't even overhear her even talking about it. So that's the crazy part.
No, yeah, we were in the cafeteria and it's pretty open and big, but they weren't tripping. That's the thing. They were doing at their table, they were getting the papers, reading. Even when I shared it with her and said the attorney here, they didn't even say something like, oh no, they didn't do that. So I had no clue. If I had known that there had been an issue earlier, I would not have even said, oh, well, I would have just kept it.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have engaged in it. And you didn't think you were engaging in it. You were just all like, dang, like that happened? Oh, shit. When people tell you, so you're like, what? You didn't even realize she talking about your homegirls in the back.
With the haggard. And then when I saw the pictures of them, then I was like, come on, that's going too far. Like, don't put like, I know we have YouTube and we could do this stuff, but to put their pictures out there like that in this vein, I think that was too far. So, yeah.
The thing about this is that I know when people see the video, like her supporters, I don't know if she'll watch this, but her supporters, when they see this, they're not going to see the problem. They're just going to see, oh, you guys are protecting these people and she was attacked. And like, they're not going to see, like, this is why we have a problem with this, that, and that, and this. I'm not saying that there was no situation outside or in the line, but your response is overboard, way overboard.
Yeah, I didn't see, again, I can't really speak to what happened. I did hear her side. And when she was relaying it to me, it made sense. But, after I found out who was involved and then to hear like how they were being characterized, I don't agree because I never saw that from them. Right. The ladies were welcoming to me. These were women from one is from Philadelphia. One actually lives there. They would tell me where to go. If they saw me alone, would come over and just talk to me. I just felt, it was a camaraderie. So, but anyway, I was getting ready to go hop out of here for a second. I just saw that your stuff is coming up in my. Okay, and I'm gonna be like one of your prior guests. It was because of me. I done blew your channel up. I want my money now.
And thank you for coming up. You have a great day. Okay.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. And make sure you guys follow Celebrity Scandalous as well. Okay. We'll get back a little bit into the video. I just want to go ahead and play the part where the other woman came up, JC, I believe her name is JC. Here we go.
Inside to read that part, and she was like, "Oh no, they don't want us to read any of your papers because they got a problem with us reading the paper." I said, "Well, what's the issue?" She said, "I'm not worried about it because none of them can read over there anyway."
Okay, here we go.
Yes. Thank you, JC.
Girl.
We need receipts on this woman, and she is defaming both of you. So look at this.
Incredible.
JC, is that you right there?
That is me. That is me, Sam. That's me.
Thank you. So please, will you just give us and try to? I'll take you solo, but let the people know your experience of what happened with her.
Okay, so what happened when we were upstairs, we were in the cafeteria, and we were waiting for the court to come back to see what was going to happen with the bail.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, it came out that there were some things that came across the pacer. So we went and got copies. Me and another girl went and got copies, and we came back up, and I was sharing the copies. I actually got a copy for everybody that was at our table when it came to what Cassie was stating. We handed all the copies out, and so everybody was like, well, let's go outside on the balcony. So we go outside on the balcony, nice breeze, and when we go outside, she's sitting at the table with a couple of other people, as well as a guy named Amir, and then we had a whole nother table that we were all sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And no issues. And they wanted to read the paper, so I gave them the government's paper. Amir was reading the paper to them. I went back over to the other table to talk to them. And so when I come back over to that table, I said, here, do you guys want the other side, the defense side, to read that part? And she was like, oh no, they don't want us to read any of your papers because they got a problem with us reading the paper. I said, well, what's the issue? She said, I'm not worried about it because none of them can read over there anyway. I said, now wait a minute. I said, that was uncalled for.
Yeah.
I said, that's not nice. There's no reason for you to say
I didn't hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute I said that, her husband told her to be quiet.
Yeah, her fiance. He might not be her husband after yesterday, you know.
Her fiance told her, stop that.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I'm not worried about them. I said, well, why would you say something like that? And I said to her, is there something wrong with your head? I said, what's wrong with you? This is not the first time today that you walked around with this Karen attitude and this above attitude where you think you're so much better than someone. I said, ma'am, we're not in the 30s no more. That's not how it works anymore.
Yeah, we're all grown.
So it's interesting hearing this because from JC, the woman who's speaking on the whole table situation, and from what T, our celebrity scandalous, is saying, like, BJ wasn't scared, y'all. This whole I was shaken up and all this other stuff. Like, this clearly shows like you were lying. And I knew, my intuition told me, like, some don't feel right about this. It don't feel right. And I feel like if you're going to tell your audience, like, for example, y'all know there's people on this platform that make threats to me that they're going to beat me up or beat my ass or something like that. I'm all like, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Like, come and do it, right? But you never will hear me like, oh my God. Like, I'm so afraid for my, if I'm afraid for my life, like, I won't be on here talking shit about them. And I definitely wouldn't post them if I was afraid for my life. So it's all the way about how you say things. Celebrity, shout out to Celebrity Scandalous. She said Tisa was not scared. She had to listen. Out of everybody, she got security. So if you got security, you feel scared, you need to fire that security. That security ain't doing nothing.
You're not going for that. Mm-hmm. You're not going to sit around and talk about who can read and who cannot read. And soon as she said that, another person at the table said, well, maybe she was meaning that they wasn't going to be able to comprehend the law part of the paper. I wouldn't give a damn what she was saying. Sorry.
And let me pause you for a second because Queen Shakur, who is with us, is a college professor.
Yes. So what reason would no one be able to comprehend what's on that paper over there? And even if you thought that they couldn't, what would give you the nerve to say something like that about a table full of people? Because you're upset because you don't have access to that paper right now. Mm-hmm. You don't have access, so you're mad.
You don't have access to that paper.
Right.
And there was no, and then you're going to go and put my paper and a picture and Diamond's picture on your page and say that we attacked you?
That's
and so
lie.
here,
all the mouth.
And Storm, somebody said, good evening, everyone. I'm just joining. Anyone want to update me? So if you guys are just joining our live.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. If you guys want to watch the whole video, let me pull up the link for the video. Okay, pull up the link. You guys can watch Secret Service Sam. And you guys can be mad at me and be all like, AT2, you're doing this and that. I don't care. I like to fight and argue. So, if you want to be mad at me, go ahead and be mad at me. That's fine with me. Like, okay, but I'm just saying, hey, we got both sides, didn't we? Y'all just seen one side. Y'all didn't see the other side. So again, like, I had to show the other side. Now, and shout out to Celebrity Scandalous. I didn't expect her to come out. That wasn't even supposed to be a long segment, but I'm happy that we got the exclusive. So I'm definitely going to chop that up and make it a smaller video. All right. So I wanted to talk about Kim Porter's friend because she basically exposed Jane Doe and Cassie. And I've always felt like Cassie and Kim Porter, I always felt like there was some tension there. And there had to be. And we know this because Cassie did say she was jealous of Kim and all the other women. So we know there was some tension there. But I feel like there is a story there. We just don't know it. Now, does that absolve Diddy from all the stuff that he did? No, I'm not saying that. But I think Cassie has been put into this fragile angel where we can't say anything. And I don't agree with that we can't say anything about Cassie. So let's go ahead and watch this video together. And I had to play it through a third party. Shout out to The Girls Are Fighting. Make sure you follow them on Instagram because this clip is from TMZ, and TMZ be striking people channel.
Cassie.
Jane Doe I knew her before she knew Mr. Combs.
She's talking about Jane Doe right now.
And she really wanted this. She has caused a lot of ruckus in our lives in the past 3 years to where the kids didn't want her around. I feel like she is doing what she wanted to do to get what she wants. She has, like, I'm going to say, he has tried to break up with her, and she has really flipped out and was very angry when he had a fourth child. And that really started a spiraling.
And you're talking about...
What's interesting about this is the video that I did yesterday talking about this kind of freak off culture that they have with Daphne, and 50 Cent baby mama even said this. This wasn't like her first go around. Like, she was a pole girl. She was in the industry, as a, she basically alluded to her being an escort. I'll just say the words.
Jane.
Yes.
And then there's Cassie, who was the first star witness, who has moved on with her life.
Yes.
And still said from the witness stand she very much loves Sean Combs.
Yeah.
What do you make of Cassie's tale from the witness stand?
I have had to deal with her for the whole time of the relationship because Kim, there's a picture of the three of them. Kim was still with him, and she was 4 months pregnant with twins. So there's a lot of things that weren't told and didn't come out in that my friend went through, and the hurt that she caused. I am very disappointed in a lot. She's very close to my kid, and I'm just very disappointed in things that she said because everybody had choices, and I lived it, so nobody can sit there and tell me that nobody could have done this and nobody could have did this. I lived it.
Some people would say that the women are victims of a horrible man. Other people might say that these women put up with horrible behavior because there was a payoff.
Oh, thank you for the super chat, Pure Joy. She said LaWanda is Dallas Austin's baby mama. That's the connection with her and Kim Porter. Also, too, and I forgot to say this. Thank you, Pure Joy. LaWanda is the woman that watches the twins. Remember, we had stated a long time ago that the twins were watched in LA, like their caregiver, or is that the proper term, caregiver? The one who's responsible for them is Kim's former best friend, and that is LaWanda. That's who she is. So which I always found weird. Like, why Diddy should be heavily involved in his daughter's lives, since I don't know. That always was weird to me. But yeah, that's who takes care of the twins in LA, LaWanda, aka Lala. Yes, thank you.
How do you view it?
I feel like this, especially with number 2, who I was very, very close to. I feel that I'm not going to excuse the things that he has done that was wrong.
Weird. I agree,
because
Amani.
those are issues that he needs to work on. But they also did things that were not right, and a lot of things that were not told in court.
Cassie.
Listen,
Jane Doe I knew her before she knew Mr. Combs, and she really wanted this. She has caused a lot of ruckus in our lives in the past 3 years, to where the kids didn't want her around.
Oh, I think it's playing again. Okay.
I feel like she is doing what she wanted to do to get what she.
So, basically from Lala's standpoint is that these girls, she's not claiming that they're not victims. She's not saying that. However, they have been a part of a lot of bullshit that has gone on. And, and that's fair too, because of course she's going to defend her friend, aka Kim Porter.
Cassie.
Jane.
And tell her side and her perspective of the story. I do feel that in this situation, Cassie and Jane Doe, I feel like there was opportunities for them to leave the situation, but because of that Stockholm syndrome and them having to, that emotional state and also the physical state of it, they trapped themselves. They were trapped. They trapped themselves because again, when something is not right. When you shouldn't be doing something, or the situation, like before a breakup, we all know when we're supposed to leave, right? Before a breakup, we all know when we're supposed to leave, but we hold on for whatever reason. And so these girls were in that similar situation where they knew that it should have been over with, but they held on. And let's be quite frank, is Jane Doe, aka Daphne, now we can say it, is Daphne actually, is she done with Diddy? Because I don't even want to say they're boyfriend and girlfriend, because that's not a relationship. But are they actually done? Because he's still paying her rent, you guys. And then I also want to know, okay, if he's still paying her rent, right? Then they have to be in communication with each other. I wonder if I must have missed that part during the court case, but like, if he is still paying her rent, then y'all have to be still communicating with each other, or like she has to still have access to Diddy. Like, I wonder, has the communication stopped, or it just stopped during the trial? But then now that everything has came out, she'll probably go back to him and still be supportive of him and still get her rent paid. And I think also too, all of that with Jane Doe really played a part. Like, so he's still paying your rent, so you're still tied to this man. So if you're still tied to this man, well, how bad is he? Because let's be honest, you can say the jurors didn't know the facts and blah, 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 blah. However, sometimes emotion trumps, no pun intended, trumps facts. Emotions will always trump facts. Oh, his accountant, yeah, I know his accountant pays it and stuff like that. But like, and yes, I figure the accountant pays it, right? But if I know that you're testifying against me, I'm cutting that shit off. But I feel like what helped Diddy was that even though she was testifying against him, hey, he didn't hold no ill will towards her, and he's still paying her rent. You cannot tell me that did not play in the heads of the defense at all. I mean, of the jurors. that, hey, even though he's this horrible guy, he's still paying her rent. Look, he's still, taking care of her. And they're not even in communication. Look, I feel like his defense team told him, keep paying that rent. We need you to keep paying that rent for her. I feel like it was very strategic in keep paying her rent. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Somebody's testifying against you. Will you still pay for their rent? Let's do a 30-second countdown real quick. If someone is testifying against you, would you still pay that person's rent? Yes or no? And I forgot about the lawyer fees too. Paying the lawyer fees. What's up, Nene? Yeah, I agree. Daphne was a double agent. She was dang, I missed your comment. But Daphne was a double agent. Daphne was definitely a double agent. That's how I feel. She was a double agent. And the prosecution, which they should have seen that this was going to be a problem. I think they should have just took her testimony and then just presented it to the court. But having her testify and everything, definitely, yeah. She was subpoenaed to testify. She didn't. Yeah, and that's also too. She was subpoenaed to testify. But it wasn't only that too. It was like, hey, we got some stuff on you and you could possibly go down too. Because remember, she admitted to transporting drugs. And because she admitted to transporting drugs, that does count as what? Trafficking. So she felt pressured to do it. See how that all, so when you take that into consideration, I can see how the jurors let the not the facts of the whole trafficking and everything like that, but they let the emotions overpower everything because it's all like, oh, well, is he really this bad guy? Where with Cassie is completely absolved of Diddy, right? They're not financially connected except for the settlement or whatever, right? But the settlement is a settlement. You can't hold that against Cassie. But knowing that Daphne was still connected to this man afterwards, right? Afterwards, you were still connected to this man. And you're testifying against him, and he's even paying your lawyer fees. Yeah, that was too much going on. She was too connected to Diddy. And then don't forget, Teeny Garagos, she hugged her. That's Diddy's defense, one of Diddy's defense lawyer. She hugged her after she got off the stand. So you're hugging the defense that was just grilling your ass? You hugged them? Y'all. Shake my head. We going by the facts, not feelings. Yeah, Shawnee. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Unpopular opinion, Jane Doe lost that case for them. Now, shout out to Tasha K. I did watch Tasha K's interview. I found it quite interesting, right? The sex worker, he's claiming that, or the male escort, he's claiming that Cassie gave him an affection. He also claiming that Cassie terminated the pregnancy, and he was unaware about it. It was a lot going on during that interview. And shout out to Tasha K for getting that exclusive. Now, as you guys may or may not know, he is also suing as well. He's suing Cassie, and he's trying to, get his money. I don't know if he's an actual victim or if he's out trying to clout chase for the moment. I feel a little indifferent. Let me play you guys this video real quick. I'm not gonna play you Tasha's interview. I will share the link to it.
So good morning. I am Dave, the man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced.
So during the Tasha K interview, he talked about how like there was a marathon. It was him and the Daniel Penny guy, and they basically had a competition of who could last the longest with Cassie, and he ended up winning. This is how he remained like a regular during the freak offs and stuff like that. So yeah.
Drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth, that Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no...
We need to bring shame back. Yes. SHAME. We need to bring shame back. Because I just don't... Here's the thing. They hired you for an illegal act, talking about prostitution. So I don't know what you can get out of it. You was just the hoe. And they used you for sex. And like somebody said, you thought she was going to keep a product of the freak off? You know, like she was going to keep a freak off baby? And mind you, Cassie was sleeping with other people. So how would we know for a fact that that was your baby? That could have been anybody's baby at that point, you know, because she was doing so many of these freak offs. And I think also too, as far as proving that she gave me some kind of infection disease or something like that, I hope you got your paperwork that shows that you did get something, and I hope that Cassie will provide her paperwork, you know, as well too. But you know, at this point, I want to see the paperwork that shows that she had a smorgasbord, and I want to see the paperwork that shows that you know, had a STD. And then here's the thing too: were you having sex with anyone else? Because during this time of the freak off engagement, he had a girlfriend. So who's to say that he didn't get it from the girlfriend? And I also want to let you guys know too, with the STD law, because a lot of people think like, oh, if somebody gave it to you, you can just sue them. You have to prove that they showed intent to give you something. And you have to prove that they're admitting like, yeah, I tried to give you this, whatever I got. You have to show proof of that. So it's not just as simple, because I mean, hell, we would all be out here suing if we are suing people for giving us, something, And make sure you guys go get tested, every 6 months, yearly checkups every 6 months, get your blood work done, do a pee test, go to your gynecologist, ladies, get that poom checked. Fellas, we don't have a dick doctor, but if you feel a little bump or something like that, go get that checked out. We talking about sexual health right now. We gonna educate y'all because I ain't gonna have no dummies in my chat. Y'all gonna be educated. Get your prostate checked out, get all that done, make sure that you good. Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie more than a
Wait, so because she was on her period, that sexual assault
year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true. If you hurt some women, they will do everything in their power. If you hurt some men, they'll do everything in their power to hurt you. But I want to end this by saying this. Cassie did this to herself. They say he who sets out on a course of revenge should dig 2 graves. People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her $20-30 million and walked into the sunset, people.
I'm sorry.
She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard. Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura while she was sleeping with numerous men per week. I get it. You all think I was a nasty male.
So, as I understand, Tyrone Blackburn was the lawyer at first. And because Tyrone Blackburn had other case, because basically he wanted to testify, right? But they never asked him to. And also Tyrone Blackburn tried to block his book because his book basically put Cassie in a bad light, where Tyrone Blackburn has all these other cases against Diddy. And if you put Cassie in a bad light and say like Diddy, basically was a cool guy and Cassie was the aggressor, then that kind of put his other cases to shame. And so it was almost like he more or less wanted to make sure that he was able to get those other civil cases taken care of before he put out that book and everything, basically exposing Cassie. Because if you say Cassie was the aggressor and she's the one that wanted it, then that basically helps Diddy. Cassie's no longer the victim, basically.
Prostitutes, sleeping with women, all different women all the time. It actually didn't work like that. To have certain types of people that can pay you that well, what you really have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued.
He mentioned that in Tasha K interview that Tisa Tells lied on him. He mentioned that.
In the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well, and I was an ex-con. I needed money. I was trapped in the situation. I'll admit that. I didn't know what to do. But does that mean I should be victim shamed because the same thing that happened to women all the time happened to me as a man? No. And for those women out there, for you black women who choose to shame me as a black man for telling my truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's really pretty much all I have to say. So good morning. I am Dave,
it's not
a man
Ratchet.
who has just...
This ain't Ratchet TV. No. Shout out to Ratchet, but no, this ain't him. No. I don't want y'all to get confused. Hold on, let's be clear. No, not the same person. But in Tasha K interview, he did mention Tisa Tells lied on him about something. Oh, and I told you guys that I would share Tasha's link to her interview. I just don't want to play the whole thing because it just came out, so I don't want to take away from her views and stuff, you know. Okay, let me Tasha K interview. Here you guys go. And are y'all hitting the like button, by the way? I don't think any of y'all are hitting the like button. Let's see what them likes looking at. Looking like, I mean. All right, let's see. Oh, we only at 175? If we can get to 250, I'll play the Milagro versus Armand video. If we can get to 250. I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds to get them likes of the 250. If we don't get 250 by 30 seconds, then we out of here. Or I'll take some money. Notice how I added that in there. I was like, oh, wait, or some money. Now, don't say I extorted nobody now. Y'all better stop with all that. Let me see. What? Oh, I forgot. I got to refresh it in order to do it. Okay. It say 205. It say 205. I don't see the number changing, y'all. I don't see that change. I know Joy like, come on, y'all. Either the likes or the money. Preferably both, but I'll give y'all a little time. I know there's a little delay. And shout out to Karmic Resolution because they always be having like all the stuff about Milagro. Okay, hold on. All right. What's the likes looking like, you guys? What's the likes? 490 on my Roku. Thank you, Miss Diva. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. I'll since y'all didn't give me the 250, I'll play a little bit. Now, Miss Diva did help. She sent a super sticker. I appreciate that. All right. So let me go ahead and oh, thank you, Nubia. I appreciate that. Okay. There we go. All right. So to go ahead and let you guys know, Milagro basically called us all out. And I kind of had to sit back and look, and I was like, dang, she kind of telling the truth. Because she was all like, everybody's mad about him about this baby oil. But I mean, he was making a mockery of the trial by doing the whole oil thing in the beginning. And now y'all have a problem? And I was all like, dang. Milagro was kind of, dragging us. Like, I was like, damn. So let's go ahead and get her. Thank you, DH. I appreciate that too as well. All right, we're going to keep it going. So let's pull up Milagro. Where is it? Here we go. And, to be fair, I get everybody's perception about perspective about what they think. So, some of y'all still gonna eat up Milagro, but I partially agree with her on this. Partially.
Briefly, get into the situation at the courthouse. When I do my show,
Thank you,
today,
girl woman.
my official show, there's a certain energy that I'm not going to give to Armand Wiggins because I don't give a fuck about Armand Wiggins. That's number one. He's exactly what I said he was. I tell no lies. And you see that in black and white, don't you? Exactly. So there's nothing for me to get into. And Armand is not a celebrity to me. He is exactly what Daily Mail called him. Okay? Didn't they call him a Diddy fan or something? A blogger? Whatever the fuck. Okay. So I don't need to get up on my...
You know, that's a good question. Was it more... Well, I would say like his commentary... It's the way he presented his commentary. But I see what you mean. Like the catchphrases and the Daddy, you know, and all that. It helped him, you know? So I can see what you mean, Karma. That's a good perspective about that.
main platforms and give him the time of day because he's not one of the people that has made it to that level. So we can sit on Station Head and we can talk because I take baths on Station Head. That's nothing. So what I want to say is Armand is an idiot. He self-sabotages.
She do sound like Lady
He is
Tattoo.
so desperate to be in certain spaces that he will embarrass himself, humiliate himself, compromise himself, damn near sell himself. Child, he'll take some clothes off and shake his booty too. And it's pitiful. He's walking around screaming new media and respect, but sat up and laid his dignity on the courthouse steps. You can't make this shit up. He can sit up and say that he did what he did for whatever reason, but history will recall it the way that it was cited, the way it was headlined. That you trivialized this situation. That's what you did. And let me tell you what, your excuse for why you did what you did falls flat. I mean, for anyone who has a piece of a fucking brain. So where y'all at? Let's chit chat. Imagine getting up saying, well, the more oil thing has taken a life of its own on my platform, so that's why I did it. As like a culmination. You fucking idiot. It's still making light of, it's still mocking, it's still all the negative things that we're calling it. Because
now what's crazy is like she has this perspective about Armand, right? But where was your antennas when you was going out here putting misinformation about Megan? If you weren't putting misinformation about Megan, you wouldn't be in the state that you in right now, right? All right, let's continue.
Because you should have never trivialized the baby oil. Do you understand that? Do you understand that there's no way to pretty it up? And I want to say, and I'm so glad I'm a thorough bitch, because when it comes time to really lay it out, we can talk our shit because we said something, right? I told y'all that I was very turned off at the way that everything was being reported on. It's not fucking funny. What Diddy was being accused of, it was not funny. And I specifically commented on the people that were watching Armand's videos, leaving comments, laughing and kikiing like it was. I said, what happened to having a heart for victims? What's funny about more oil? What's funny about simulating having sex? And like, this nigga is up in a chair with his little booty shorts on, literally simulating having sex, mocking incidents described in court on video. And the caption under it, where he's asking for money in the bottom left in his lower third, is the more oil fund.
This is Milagro Graham. She's the one that's always on Station Head. She's a Tory Lanez supporter, and she's being sued by Megan the Stallion. Now, you know Armand and Milagro have their own history together.
So everything was so funny until he got up there and recreated a Boondocks episode. Now it's not funny no more. No. Let me tell you about niggas. You build up people like Armand, and then you turn your back on people like Armand. Then people like Armand crash out. Then all of y'all looking crazy with y'all stupid ass. Niggas want to be vile. Niggas want to do they shit in the dark. That's the problem. They didn't have no problem with Armand's behavior until everybody else saw it. As long as y'all was in Armand land over on his channel where y'all thought nobody was really seeing y'all, y'all was leaving them comments and laughing and shit. It's like, oh, everything okay. Because that was in an isolated environment. Now that this shit has hit the main stage, y'all acting like y'all in an uproar. Armand's views have been out the fucking wazoo. Don't lie, bitch. You've been sitting right over there laughing with Armand. Now he's a coon.
Why is she so angry though? I'll give you one thing. She know how to drag. Like, I might not like somebody's actions, but if you know how to drag people, I gotta give you your flowers. But let's continue.
I'm not going for it. All you hoes half-stepping. Y'all empowered him to do exactly what the fuck he did. Now y'all got the nerve to turn around and say, oh my God, Frankenstein, look at your fucking monster. All of y'all are complicit, not the mob. Everybody right here that can hear the sound of my voice, bitch, you not in that shit. Because we don't move like that. But everybody else that was up there, this boy then did better on YouTube with this Diddy shit and this baby oil than he ever has in his whole YouTube career. This nigga then got up on Nancy Grace. Congratulations. This nigga then got up
Armand is
with
her mirror.
TMZ. Congratulations. This nigga then got up here with Angela Yee. Congratulations. This nigga then did all of this shit.
She's making some good points, but also too, this seemed like, damn, I wish I would have had that moment. This should have been my moment. You guys are praising him and giving him all this attention. Like, why? Like, he ain't great. He ain't this. He ain't that. But then she gonna say congratulations at the same. Yeah, it just sounds like it's hating to me. But I mean, she is making some valid points.
To turn around and say, look at me, white people. I'm a fucking coon. You want to know why? Because he don't know how to have shit. He has no sense of self, so he does any fucking thing. He want to be seen so bad that he don't give a fuck what type of dance he's doing as he's performing as a court jester. So the whole thing is, babe, you gotta do better. 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 So the internet is having its way with Armand. They done talked about him like a damn dog. They done talked about him like a damn dog. A dog, bitch. I'm talking about viral post after viral post. CNN, let me tell you what. This young man, Armand, has done all of this work and has been recognized in whatever capacity by traditional media, only to have CNN come up yesterday with absolute disgust, describe what was going on at the courthouse. You were scolded on fucking CNN. You are being branded as the poster child for Diddy making it out or getting acquitted of certain charges.
What's your beef?
They got this nigga out. Somebody said, I saw it on NBC. They said they described.
The thing is, and I don't know if I said this before or not, because Armand has a large platform and he's able to reach so many people and he has influence. You can be a YouTuber, but you know, we only go so far. Like, I don't consider myself an influencer. I'm more of a content creator. Armand, he's a content creator who happens to be an influencer. And so he has a certain influence. So he's going to be looked at as the top dog. He's the representative now of the Diddy supporters. Even though he never came out and said, I'm a Diddy supporter, he's the representative of Diddy supporters now. And especially with the baby oil, like they showed him more than the girl with the bra and the blue hair that was getting sprayed with baby oil. They showed him more because his name carries more weight. And so he's able to be the poster child. This is why CNN, Nancy Grace, all these people put Armand in the headline because he's the one that was out there getting all the attention. So it's all like, damn, You out there featuring on all these shows, but yet you just acting niggerish just like the rest of them niggers. You know, that's what they see. And I should have warned y'all that I was going to say that word. But yeah, like the perception of the, remember we were talking about earlier with the perception that they have of black people? Oh yeah, they act this way. It's never that, oh, this black person is like this. It's always like the one black person who acts a fool, they're a representative of everybody. And hell, I believe that's why a lot of people were attacking a lot of these black celebrities, because they looked at Diddy and automatically started accusing all these other celebrities like Jay-Z and Beyonce. And Jay-Z, Beyonce was never on any freak off tapes or anything like that, right? But they look at one black person that does wrong and they figure that all of us are the same. And I hate that, but unfortunately it's that way, you know. Something's wrong in NYC when, yeah. And, you know, it shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately it is. Because now people are saying, see, this is why y'all can't be at the courthouses, because y'all don't know how to act and da-da-da-da-da-da. Y'all heard it. I'm not the first one to say it. Y'all heard this shit, you know? And where Garth Brooks at, why hasn't hit? Right, because he was in a law. I don't even know if that lawsuit got settled or not. And just like we talk about Mike Jeffries, the white CEO who was actually trafficking boys and promising them deals and stuff like that, he's now claiming that he's senile and he can't think for himself. He got dementia. What? No, all of a sudden now you got dementia? You know, and sorry, celebrity scandalist, I didn't read your comment. I put it down. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Described it as a circus. They called them crazed fans. The Daily Mail did a whole fucking write-up, and guess who's on the headline? Guess who's the headline picture? Armand's black ass, smiling with his chest out. He looks like the cooniest coon you've ever seen in your fucking life. Yelling, then talking about more oil, more oil. And I see somebody right here that's saying, at least he made it to CNN. Let me block you, big head. Let me block you. Because if you don't understand the importance of being in the right light, if you don't understand how far them niggas just set us back, then I cannot help you. Armand Wiggins and the rest of them people for self that they didn't give a fuck about how they would make the community look by doing what the fuck they did. Armand is so concerned with himself that he didn't give a fuck how YouTubers would look when he did what he did, because it was all about him. It was all about him and his platform and a motherfucking inside joke while he running around screaming new media. That's why we're not the same. That's why we're not the same. How many people do you think will respect YouTubers after this? How much longer do you think it'll take for people to even pretend to believe that people from that space have?
It's so funny hearing her be the moral police and all of this. But if she was still cool with Armand, would she still be saying this? That's my question.
Fucking integrity or morals or anything. What do you think?
A few moments later.
Ooh.
They said, watch when they put this into articles, they're going to use Armand picture to show the crazed fan. JD, they already did. The Daily Mail already did a write-up. And Armand is on the front picture. And let me go to, I posted it on Instagram. Let me go.
Someone told me New York Times too. I don't know if it was New York Times or the New York Press. One of those did an article and it featured Armand.
I'll read to you what the headline is. The headline says, crazed Diddy fans are removed by riot police after spraying each other in baby oil outside the courthouse. And they have Armand dead in the front, shaking his chest with his drawers on, with a little hat on, with the man that looked like a coon in the suit, pouring the baby, squirting baby oil on him like he busting a nut on his chest. And they also called him a crazed dancer.
The Sun Telegraph are all owned by Murdoch. Oh, Rupert Murdoch. Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Well, with
I
that
saw
being
that
said,
too.
yeah, they're
I
gonna
saw
make
that too,
us
Beauty
look
and
bad,
Boss.
huh? Thank you, son, for that information.
They said breaking news. The New York Post just posted Armand. Oh, let's go take a look. Every
Oh, New
nigga
York
is a star.
Post.
And congratulations on this as well. I've congratulated you on everything else. Congratulations on this too.
Mm-mm.
This is your best work yet.
She's being sued by Rock Nation.
You're doing great, honey. Not.
You said
Y'all
you're
ever
doing
wonder why
great.
certain people
Nah.
haven't made it to certain places? You want to know what I think God does sometimes? I think that you'll go through life thinking you deserve shit, and God knows you don't, so He don't give it to you. But
And you know, Angie, you make a great point. No matter what, they're going to judge us anyway. They're going to think what they're going to think. And you know what? There's actually an interview that I did with someone, and I'll be releasing that a little later. But I was all like, yeah, because, you know, the way they think about Black people, and they're all like, well, AT2, they're going to think bad things about us anyway. They don't care about anything. They already have their mind made up about Black people, so who cares? And I was like, dang. And that kind of hit me. I was like, you're right, because no matter what we do, we still going to be looked at as that, you know?
I think that sometimes y'all get on God's nerves. I think that the person who it concerns the most, they get on God's nerves asking for it. And I think the people on the outside, they speak things and they annoy God because they be like, well, why it ain't happening? Why it happened? And I think sometimes God will give you something just so that you in the world could see why the fuck you don't deserve it. So everybody can shut the fuck up. And this kind of feels like that to me. Here, I'll give him the world. But watch him flush it down the fucking toilet. Go ahead. And here we are. Moving along. Let's go see what the New York Post said.
All right.
I'm going to type in New York
So I'm going
Post.
to go ahead and stop it right here. But Karmic Resolution is the one that does all the Milagro videos. So shout out to him. I wanted to give you guys the link so you guys can check out the full thing. But yeah, even though Milagro sounded like she was hating, she was making some good points. You can't deny that. She was making some good points. And I think also too, it's a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson for Armand. Like, he has to realize he's not a small dog. He's a top dog. Just like even for myself, I have to realize that I'm not in that same place. I'm not that YouTuber that had 2,000, 3,000 subscribers. And I'm not saying that means you're nothing, but for me, I'm not at that level. So why am I fighting with people with 2,000, 3,000 subscribers? Why am I fighting with them? I'm their elder. That's why they call me the Godfather of YouTube, because I've helped so many people, and you know, I've been able to share my knowledge and my knowledge with other people and really help them out and see how to navigate this space. So, you know, if I'm the Godfather, I need to start acting like it, right? And for those of you about to say, AT2, you're not the Godfather, kiss my black ass. But anyway. I know y'all was about to say something. That's why I was like, I'm gonna get y'all before y'all get me. Damn it. But anyway, y'all, this has been a great show. We talked about a lot. There's a lot of craziness going on. Listen, this Diddy trial is the gift that keeps on giving, as y'all said earlier. Like, it's been a lot going on. But all in all, I just want y'all to love everybody, be entertained. Cammy, you don't miss the whole damn show. Now, don't get your ass up here hella late talking about what I missed. You know it's all love. But I just want y'all to know, please love everybody. Please, it's entertainment, you guys. I don't want y'all stalking, harassing people. I don't want y'all bullying nobody. Let's be clear. I don't want y'all bullying nobody. Just have fun with it and just be entertained by the content creators. Support them. Show them love. You know, I never want to see nobody get taken down. This is not a whole, oh, we're taking this person down. But I feel like this show, we really had a discussion that not too many people were having, like with the whole BJ situation. Like, there was a lot of microaggressions and it had to be called out. And I'm happy that it was called out because other people seen it. And yeah, I wasn't trying to be the poster child to call her out, but it just happened that other people felt the same way as me. Tisa tells, get your money. I ain't mad at you. Run to the bank. Run to the bank. That's what she doing. She trying to get her a show. I ain't mad at it. Tisa tells, get your show. You know, if she get a show, it inspires me to get my own show. Damn it. Like, that's how, the way I see it. Now, perception about, you know, her saying that these people were trying to attack her and stuff like that. I don't like that. They necessarily, nobody could get to you because you were barricaded and you had security. Nobody was going to attack you. I don't like that. You know, I ain't going to call you a Karen like BJ, but, you know, it was a little Karen tendencies, you know, playing that up. But I get you. You trying to get you a TV show. I get it. But anyway, I love y'all. Be safe out there. Love one another. And we out of here. Deuces, everybody.